welcome. You're watching Money9, India's first multilingual platform for personal finance from TV9 News Network. I'm Sakshi Batra, and on this show, we are going to be discussing all about markets and commodities. Is the bull run in equities here to stay? And how long will the commodity super cycle really stay on? And what should you be doing as an Indian retail investor? And will be a very special guest joining in. But before that, let me request all our viewers who are watching us on our YouTube channel to like and subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell icon so that you can get notified whenever we add a new video. Stay connected with us through all our social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, where we put out regular updates for you. And visit our website, money9.com, both in English and in Hindi, where we put out regular news updates, all the articles, and our video content as well. Time to introduce my special guest to you. With me is legendary investor, commodities guru Jim Rogers, joining in from Singapore on Money9 exclusive. Welcome, Mr. Rogers, and thank you very much for taking out time for us and joining us from Singapore.
Thank you. I'm in quarantine in Singapore, so I wish I were in Delhi.
I know, sir, but the things are same worldwide. We are hoping that we come out of this pandemic and you stay safe as well. Let me kickstart our discussion today. A whole lot of our viewers are excited about this interview because they're going to be hearing you for the very first time on Money9. So I want to begin by asking you to share with us and our viewers a little bit about your journey as an investor. How did you actually start to invest? How did you make that big money? And what's the secret of your success?
I knew nothing about investing when I went to Wall Street. I went there by chance because I liked the interviewer. I quickly fell in love because here was a place that would pay me to know about the world. And I realized that's what I was very interested in at that time in my life and still. So I fell in love. I went to Wall Street and had a reasonably successful time and worked very hard, but I didn't consider it work. I just loved it because I was very interested in all the things that were happening in the world, and it worked.
Absolutely, it did work, and that is why we're all big fans of yours. I want to ask you, Jim, that if a first-time investor were to ask you today from India that I want to be rich like you too, what formula would you like to share with him? What's the best way to make money?
Sakshi, if you want to be successful, stay with what you know. Do not listen to me. Do not even listen to Sakshi. Do not listen to people on the internet or in the newspaper. Everybody watching this knows a lot about something, whether it's fashion or sports or cars or something. Start there. You already know more than I do. And when you see something happening that you know will be successful, don't just wave. Do some research. Find out about the company and the people and the competitors, and you will probably make an investment. And you will be better at it than I will because I know nothing about it. And now, if I told you you could only have 20 investments in your life, you would be very careful. You would only invest when you know a lot about something, and you'll be successful. You'd be rich. You might think it's boring. Be boring if you want to be a successful investor.
Be boring if you want to be a successful investor, and don't listen to experts but your own instinct and believe in your knowledge. And that is what is really going to make you successful, is the mantra that you're getting from Jim Rogers right here. But also help us understand a little deeper. In the current market scenario that we're seeing, we are at the backdrop of this 1 in 100 years of a pandemic. And we have been absolutely stunned and surprised with the way equities have really moved. In this kind of a scenario, we've been surprised with the way commodities have started to run. And, I want to understand from you, how do you see this whole space really going forward from here? Is the bull run in equities here to stay? Are there signs of cooling off here?
Actually, as I look around the world, bonds are in a bubble. Bonds have never been this expensive in the history of the world. Property in many places is a bubble. Korea, New Zealand, the places, bubble is beginning everywhere. Stocks in many countries in the world are beginning to have a bubble. Amazon goes up every day, 10 cents, Samsung. So stocks are beginning. The cheapest asset class are commodities. Silver is down 50% from its all-time high. Sugar is down 70%. Oil is down 50%. That is not a bubble. The cheapest asset class are commodities.
So the cheapest asset class is commodities right now, and that is where you need to focus on. Would you actually say, we're seeing that the metals have had a very sharp run here. The rally in, say, copper, some of the base metals, gold, it's all spilling over to even agro commodities now. Where is money going to be made in commodities going on from here?
Well, silver's down 50% from its all-time high. I'm not buying it now, but I will buy more silver somewhere along the line. Agriculture, as I said, all of these things are down a lot from their all-time highs. Copper is not, because we're going to have electric vehicles, and electric vehicles use many times more copper than regular vehicles. But most commodities are still down a lot, and I am waiting to buy more. Not today, but sometime in the next, who knows, I will buy more. I will buy more, probably. I will buy more of the indexes, because that's the easy way to buy commodities for me.
Okay, so you will buy more along the line as silver is still, 50% lower than its all-time highs, and maybe there'll be opportunities for investors to keep an eye out on here. But if I were to ask you, say, on a scenario like today, we have seen that the US Fed has indicated that they are going to hike the rates in 2023. The sharp reaction on gold is what we've seen on the downside. So would you say that it's a good time to look at gold right now, or will gold fall even further? What should be the strategy?
I have no idea how low it will go. I'm a bad trader, Sakshi, but I am hoping and planning to buy more silver and more gold sometime in the future. 2023 is a long way away. Who knows what the Federal, they don't know what they will do. They don't know what they'll do next month, much less next year. But somewhere along the line, I'm going to buy more of all commodities, because I know inflation is coming back. Governments have printed staggering amounts of money. And inflation, you always need to protect yourself from inflation by owning real assets.
Okay, you need to protect yourself from inflation. So you're approaching gold and silver as an inflation hedge. Would you say that all the investors should look that way too?
All commodities, especially agriculture, silver. I mean, they're all going to go much higher. When there's inflation, it means prices of things go higher. If you own things, you will protect yourself and you will make money, whether it's sugar or silver or lead.
But would you also say that, now that we are seeing that the dollar is rising, is that a bad thing for commodities? Would it post itself as a hurdle?
Sometimes commodities go up with the dollar, sometimes they go down. You cannot use this. There's no single rule that I know of. I own US dollars as well, but I hope and plan to own a lot of commodities and US dollars in the future. Sakshi, again, the cheapest asset class in the world are commodities.
Okay, for Indian retail investors, what is the best way to own these commodities? Is it get into stocks of commodities? Is it invest via commodities ETF, trade in commodities? What do you think is the best way to go?
Depends on what you know, but if you know a lot about commodities, maybe you will buy the commodities themselves. Otherwise, ETFs or indexes, many studies show that if you own the index, you will outperform most investors, whether it's commodities, stocks, whatever it is. So it depends on how much you know. If you know a company that's very big in commodities that's going to do well, buy the shares of the commodity of the company. But stay with what you know. Sakshi, I want to say, everybody wants a hot tip. Hot tips will ruin you. Do not listen to hot tips. Find the things that you know and invest.
Absolutely. One more thing on the commodity space for the retail investors is to how to decide how much of your investment really go into commodities. What is the safe, kind of level that you would say that everybody must have invested in commodities?
Sakshi, there's no such thing as safe when you're talking about investments. Forget that word. Nothing is safe.
Okay.
Nothing. Everybody should own some silver and gold as insurance, if nothing else. But it depends on what you know. If you know a lot about silver, maybe all of your money should be in silver. If you know very little about silver, maybe only a small. But everybody should own some precious metals as insurance and as protection. But it depends on how much you know. If you know a company that's going to find a silver deposit in Delhi, buy all you can, and then send me an email. But it depends on what you know.
Okay. And what about equities in the markets? Do you believe, now that you're saying that, there's something about inflation that you have to keep an eye out on, is that going to be a big risk going forward from here? Are the markets going to take that in a very serious way? Are we going to see lower levels? How should investors really approach that inflation risk?
Sakshi, when you're an investor, if you want to be successful, you have to know about everything. I wish it were easy. It's not easy. Not easy getting rich. Maybe you should watch Money9. Maybe you should watch TV9. Whatever you do, you need to know as much as you can. Shares in the U.S. are making all-time highs. They may go higher. Bubbles are forming, but not enough yet to ruin it. I would suspect that later this year or next year, it'll be a time to sell U.S. equities, but I'm not selling them yet, and I'm certainly not selling them short. Not yet.
Okay, not selling right yet. The bubbles may be forming, but not too bad right now is the situation. Also wanted to ask your view on this new asset class where everybody is talking about, is the cryptocurrency. What is your view here?
Well, many cryptocurrencies have already disappeared and gone to zero. There were hundreds have disappeared. Now there are thousands. They can't all be successful. I have never bought nor sold any cryptocurrencies. Sakshi, if any of them become successful as currencies, which they say, my view is the governments will stop it. Governments do not like to lose their monopoly, do not like to lose control, and they will. All money is going to be on the computer. It already is in China. You can't take a taxi in China with money. You have to use computer money. You can't buy an ice cream, and that's already happening. All money is going to be on the computer, but when the U.S. dollar is here, and the U.S. says, this is money, the U.S. is not going to say, okay, this is money. But if you want to use something else, you can use something else. That's not the way politicians think. That's not the way bureaucrats think. I'm afraid that if it becomes successful as money, not just a trading vehicle, then governments will take action.
The governments will take action. So there is a bit of caution right here. So how would you, address investors' concerns right here? They're actually seeking big opportunities in the cryptocurrency base, but we have seen them rise and also fade so many times over in history. How should investors, deal with this kind of FOMO, fear of missing out, that they're feeling that at this point in time? Because every time they hear this news of Bitcoin surging over $60,000, everybody feels that, boy, I invested in it. Did you ever feel that way?
Sakshi, don't ever worry about missing out. There are many, many opportunities. There will be many, many more. When you go to the beach, I promise you, there are many, many girls, many, many boys, whatever you want. Do not worry about missing out in the investment world, in any world. Do not worry about missing out. If you say, I missed it, I must buy. No, no, no. Be patient. Successful investors do nothing most of the time. They just sit and wait. Wait until they see. When you see money lying over there on the floor in the corner, and all you have to do is go over there and pick it up, that's how you should be investing. Be patient. Be patient.
Be patient. That's the key. Let me take a few of our live questions from audiences who directly want to ask you. Harsh Chauhan is asking, what is your outlook on steel? Is the super cycle near its peak, or there is some steam left even now?
Well, steel has been extremely hot, as you know. I don't like to buy anything that's been hot. Maybe it's going to correct for a while, and when it corrects, maybe you should buy some if you're a good trader. I will not, because I'm not a trader, and steel has been already successful. But I don't see any reason that steel won't continue to be strong for a long time to come.
Okay.
I am not buying it, but that does not mean that if you know what you're doing, you won't make a lot of money.
Okay, Jim Rogers is not buying, but in case you are positive about it, Harsh, then definitely you can trust your instinct. Okay, Abhishek Gupta has asked the next question. He wants to know 3 things required to be a successful investor like you.
Stay with what you know. Stay with what you know. You want a hot tip? I will not give you a hot tip. Hot tips will ruin you. So stay with what you, and whatever it is, you look at something every day on the internet or in the news. And when you see something, whether it's fashion, something new about fashion, then do your research. You must do your research. You must know about the company and the management and the competition. Is there a lot of competition? I mean, it's hard work. You must know about the supply and demand. You must know about the competition. You must know, does the company have a lot of debt? You must know the people at the management. Are they smart or dumb? It takes a lot of work. It takes patience, hard work, and focus.
Okay, patience, hard work, and focus.
You said three things: patience, hard work, and focus.
Patience, hard work, and focus. Those three things are required to be a successful investor. Note that. I'm hoping that, Abhishek, that has answered your question. Siddharth has asked the next question, and he wants to know, what are your thoughts on cryptocurrency going up against digital gold?
Well, I just explained that more or less. Digital gold may well happen. It already is to some extent. You can go online and you can buy gold online in storage or whatever you want. I would suspect that 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 20, gold will have done better, because I expect most digital currencies, if not all cryptos, to disappear. So unless if one survives and you know the one, fine, you'll do well. But otherwise, I would think that gold will do better 5 years from now, 20 years from now.
Okay, two more questions from the audiences, and then we'll wrap up the show. The next question is again from Abhishek. He wants to know, gold has regularly been underestimated in the recent times. So how important is it to invest in gold? I know you have reiterated that everybody must own some gold, but in case that he wants to know, could you actually reiterate for him?
Well, everybody should have some gold and silver, or silver as an insurance policy. I would buy silver now. Silver's down 50% from its all-time high. It's much cheaper than gold, but both. I mean, India's the king of silver and gold, so you should know better than I, but everybody should own some silver and some gold. So how important it is to invest in gold? It's extremely important to own some as insurance. And once you know a lot about it, you will be able to buy more. You'll know when it's cheap, when it's not. Everybody needs to know about gold because it has an effect on all markets, either positive or negative.
Okay, and the last question from our audience is that Siddharth is asking this: any particular checklist about what to know as a new investor who's looking to explore commodities?
Stay with what you know. I hate to be boring, but that's it. If you don't know how to buy silver, don't buy silver, but learn. Learn how to buy silver. If you don't know how to buy sugar, learn. You must learn about the supply, the demand, where to buy it, how to buy it. This is not easy. Well, I will tell you, it's easier to learn about sugar than it is to learn about Microsoft, for instance. Microsoft has thousands of customers, et cetera, its employees, et cetera. So sugar, you just have to figure out the supply and demand. I didn't say it was easy. I just said it is easier, it's simpler than to invest in nearly all equities. But it takes work. There are millions of people trying to figure out the supply and demand of sugar right now, or silver right now. I just said it's easier and simpler than investing in shares because they're simpler. But
okay,
it takes work. You can listen to Sakshi all you want. You can listen to Money9, TV9. You still have to do your work.
You have to go do your work. You have to do hard work. You have to learn. Those are the tips that you're getting from the legendary investor right here. Last word from you, Mr. Rogers, on Money9 before we wrap up this show here. For all those who are listening to you and want to know from you as to whether money will be made from here on commodities and markets. Should you stay invested? No need to panic about what kind of downturns do we see because of external factors. Would you give any kind of calming words to them?
Well, watch TV9. Watch Sakshi, but do your homework, do your research. This is not an easy. Everybody thinks it's easy. Everybody says, I could have bought Amazon. It's not easy. When you get an idea that will work, then do your research. If I told you can only have 20 investments in your life, you will be careful and you will be successful. And someday Sakshi will interview you on TV9.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Rogers, for speaking to us and through us, all our viewers. They're excited as always to hear you out from you, all those tips and tricks and insights that they need to know as they begin their investment journey. The first time investors will be elated. Thank you very much. It's been an honor to have you with us on our platform.
Ms. Batra, it is my honor to see you again. It is my pleasure to see you again. I hope we can do it again. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. The pleasure will be ours. Thank you so much. Hope you have a good day and stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, and with that, we wrap up this Money9 exclusive with Jim Rogers. A whole lot of insights from him, whether it is on the tips that investors need to follow when you're investing in commodities, patience, hard work, focus, 3 tips to become a successful investor. Keep those in mind as well. And one insight that he's really given in is that perhaps commodities are easier to understand than technology stocks, which everybody's going after. Think about all of that and see where your insight, where your own heart really takes you. Follow your instinct, and that's where it should take you to become a successful investor. All of those snippets will be up for you on our website. Look at that. You can revisit this interview on our social media platforms as well, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And also we put out information with regards to commodities updates, markets updates on all our platforms, as well as the website as well for you to really read. Thank you very much for tuning in on this show.